Hello again. I wanted to continue talking about spirituality here. Um, the next part is our relationship really with the gods and goddesses. Um, I made a video of this a while back where it seems like a lot of our younger people are treating the gods and goddesses as Pokemon cards. They fit a need that they have, the person has. And that's who they work with, what they need. I watched a video about 2 weeks ago about a lady who was concerned about the matron god she was going to get because what if she didn't like him? And, as I stated, maybe that's what she needed the most. You gotta understand that sometimes it's not what you want, it's what you need. And you don't always get to pick the god or goddess that you get to work with. There are times where they pick you and you just can't ignore it. Well, you can't just go, well, I'm sorry, Kali, I don't like you, bug off. That doesn't work. If Kali wants to work with you, guess who you're working with? Kali. Show respect. And really then, although some people, I've seen some people do some wonderful work showing some respect to the gods and goddesses. There was one who made handmade clay statues and did an amazing job on them. And I mean, that's a part of building the relationship. So good for her. But I don't see a lot of people talking about their relationships with the gods and goddesses. And it just makes me wonder, what type of relationship do they really have with them? Would you help a complete and total stranger if they asked you to do something pretty amazing? More than likely, no. I mean, you would help out a friend half the time. You would help a family member more often, but a stranger would be, hey, you're lucky as heck if you'd give them 50 cents in today's society. Then with her societies, I'm talking mostly our younger people here, their social skills aren't the greatest. And so I really question their ability to have a relationship with the gods and goddesses. So today at work, I was thinking of different ways where I can explain this. And I had two analogies come into my head. I'm not trying to insult Wicca here. This is just an opinion and an explanation why. From my understanding of Wicca, they are asking you to pick a matron goddess and a patron god. They want you to pick two entities to work with in your practice. And I find that extremely limiting because life is very complex. There's a lot of events that happen in life, surprises. There's always something going on. It's never a simple, easy, two-aspect type of life. So I don't think it fits life to go pick your two gods and you're going, okay, Caradwin and Cernunnos. Okay, those are two amazing gods. They really are. But they don't cover the full aspects and situations of life. They are limited. They really are. Caradwin is associated with wisdom and magic, and Cernunnos is considered the wild stag of nature, for those of you who don't know. But there's so much more to life. And if you have a crisis come up in your life and you're trying to deal with it, I like to go on walks, or I can sit in a dark room and I talk to the gods. I'm trying to figure things out. And so I want to be able to talk to the god or goddess that can help me. Now, as I was saying, would you help a complete stranger? Well, let's just say I had a family member sick, and it scares me, and I want to get help. Well, one of the healing gods for the Celts is Granus. And so, before I ask him, to help out a family member, I should have been talking to him or showing some type of respect, give laminations to that effect for a period before that. Because, talking to somebody that day, the day something shows, a day that you need him, is an insult. My two analogies I wanted to use are this. I'm polytheistic, okay? I believe in many gods and goddesses because life is complex. If you look in the dictionary and look up the definition of pagan, a lot of them are going to have the words polytheistic in there, which means the belief in many gods, not the dualism that Wicca has. One of my mentors, he was putting in one of his videos about Christian dualism and how it's all around our society, around the world. And he's right. And Christian dualism is in Wicca. You see, Christians have this absolute. It's either one way or the other. You're either with God or you're against. Well, one of their other absolutes, it's either male or female. And this is where we get so much troubles between genders and all that, because it's one versus the other. It's a polar opposite dualism. And so I try to stay away from that as much as I can. But anyway, paganism is polytheistic. Every culture in good old ancient Europe had a pantheon of gods and goddesses. So if you fall in love with the culture and their religious system, it's kind of like marrying that culture's religious system. So I have adopted and I enjoy the Celtic mythologies, and so in a way I've made a dedication. I've married Celtic mythology. All the gods and goddesses of that mythology all of a sudden kind of like become my children, or the children of that religious belief. And so you cannot just take one or two of that group of kids and say, I like you too, the rest of you stay out of my hair, and basically ignore them. It's a family package. It's all or none. Because, like for the Celts, let's say, Caradwyn and Cernunnos, but if a family member gets sick, I want Granus. But if I've been shunning Granus, why would he help me when I needed him? he needed me to give him some attention earlier on, and it wasn't there. These are units. This is a group that has a history, a harmony, and picking one disrupts the harmony. And you wouldn't be a very good parent if you just picked one or two of the gods and goddesses, one or two of the children. You would be considered a bad parent. It would be a bad relationship. And there you go. That's the point. It would be a bad relationship with these gods and goddesses if you pick two and ignore the rest. Okay? The other way to look at it, since Wicca says you pick one matron, one patron, the god that you pick, or goddess that you pick, becomes kind of like your spouse. They become your focus. You spend all your spiritual time focusing on them, and the other gods and goddesses of that pantheon become your in-laws. Something goes wrong, again, a family member gets sick. And although you've been ignoring Grannis, you all of a sudden have a need, and you remember, oh, Grannis all of a sudden is important. Well, let's go talk to Grannis. Would you help an in-law that wouldn't give you the time of day, that didn't consider you important, all of a sudden thinks that you're important? It's like your uncle just won the multinational lottery, multi-state lottery, I'm sorry. And he's now a multi-millionaire, and you are going calling him, hey, remember me? I'm your in-law from your brother. And because that's disrespectful, you wouldn't want to deal with that person, because they're after one thing. And I think that's what way a lot of our younger people are treating the gods and goddesses. You got to have a relationship with them. You got to have rapport with them. It's not an on-off, hey, something comes up, I need this one. This other guy's going to have to take the back burner for a while, because this other god is more important to me right now. A pantheon is like a family. And there might be a god and goddess that you love more than the others. Something that you feel a bit more connected to. For me, it's Kaliach and Lugus, because they are the elders of the group, it seems. And so they represent knowledge and wisdom and experience, and that is so important to me. But there are other gods and goddesses that are also important. Aveda is the handmaiden, nursemaiden goddess. She's important. But so is the opposite of Kaliach, and that's Rosmerta. She would be considered the maiden, the virgin. She is potential. She is what could be. And what could be can be anything. It could be wonderful. So you can't, give attention to this one and ignore the others when the others are important too. So when you're choosing your gods and your goddesses, consider that. Just because a god or goddess might not be able to benefit you very much right now, we don't know what happens in 10 years or 15 years or next week. The one that you didn't need might all of a sudden be the one that you need. And so open yourself up to the Pantheon, just like what our ancestors did when they created a pantheon of gods and goddesses. Okay? Embrace the family. build the relationship with the family. And with that, your spirituality comes stronger. You're more open. You're thinking in larger terms, because the gods and the goddesses, the ones that are important to you, kind of express your emotions, how you think. Like I said, about Caliach and Lugus. Caliach is more known. She is the crone. She is grandma. And grandma is a wonderful thing, because grandma can be sweet. Grandma is wise. She has experiences. She has wisdom. She knows little secrets. And grandma can be the meanest mother when she's angry. Don't get grandma angry at you. And so that's what makes her so amazing. Because, as we said, the gods and goddesses have different, each god and goddess. It's like a tarot card. If it's face up, it's one thing, but if it's inverted, it means another thing. Well, each one of our gods and goddesses is the same way. Grandma can be sweet, but if you hurt something with grandma gonna get mean. That's the way to look at them. It's a family. And that will help develop a better, stronger relationship with the gods. And with that, your spirituality will be stronger, and that connection, that energy, will make your magic even stronger. So that's my rant on spirituality for tonight. Maybe I'll think of some more stuff at work tomorrow, and I'll share it then. Okay? So everybody, take care. Be at peace.